lot of things are happening right now, so you're going to hear this thing going off, which is one reason why I'm doing this video. I guess first and foremost right now is that you know that there's a lot of chatter going on from different sources, I guess you could say. There's even quite a bit firing up on Twitter right now from very good sources, even there, that say that a big event is coming down in DC either Monday, that's tomorrow the 13th, or Tuesday the 14th. I just want to caution you that intelligence is fluid, okay? It changes with the information flow. So this isn't a guarantee, but I think something big is happening. Will it be, going after the people that were involved in the wiretap of Trump? Will it be pedophiles? It's hard to say, but it's going to be something of a fairly grand scale, and some of the people are going to be well known that are brought forth. Okay, so I'll just leave it at that. Just keep your eyes and ears open. I used to say, keep your eyes on the horizon and your ears to the ground, and just be aware of what's going on. So we'll leave that one there, and we'll just see what happens. And the next thing I wanted to talk about is Turkey. And I guess most of you know that Geert Wilders is up for election there. He's the nationalist that's very much against this whole refugee thing with the Islamic people, because we know that most of the refugees, quote unquote, are actually military-age men. This is a great way of a Trojan horse bringing these armies into these different countries and having them sit there and wait. And a lot of us in the military and the intelligence communities have been warning about this for a long time. Well, here we go. And I won't give you the whole rundown. You can go check it on YouTube and on the news yourself. The American media is not covering it very much, and of course they wouldn't, because this is what we've been warning about. Basically, it's about the whole election there, with Geert Wilders getting in there, and the Islamic people wanted to have a demonstration. There was a diplomat from Turkey coming in to partake in some of this and to push an agenda. Basically, finally, the Dutch said, no, stop it. Huge riots started in the streets, and you can go look at this. I'm going to put a couple of pictures right here. One of them actually is from Italy, from a transport, but you'll get the idea. Okay, so the point is, now what's happened is because of what the Dutch have done, Erdogan in Turkey has apparently either preparing to or already has started to detain Dutch diplomats. And I don't know the whole story right there. It's kind of ongoing at this point. But what has happened that's very important, and this is the point of my video, the Turks are saying, yeah, we have a 500,000 man army in Holland opposing your 40,000 in your military. Bam, there it is. By the way, bam is a favorite saying of Nurse Patriot on Twitter, so I guess that kind of rubbed off on me, but I think it says a lot. There it is, right in front of you. The very thing that we've been talking about, Matt Bracken, Matt Bracken 48 on Twitter, and also on the web at enemiesforeignanddomestic.com. He's been warning about this for a long time, and here we are. And this could spark some very, very bad things. And of course, that's the plan everywhere. Look what's going on in Sweden, and of course, they're trying to do it here in the United States. And I'm going to have a little bit more to say about that, kind of on a side note, in a few minutes. Congressman King has come out, and he's getting a lot of flack for saying that, we should take care of our own and we don't want babies from other cultures coming here. And he's getting a lot of flack about that, saying he's a racist, et cetera, et cetera. And these leftist Marxists, these Democrats, all of these people will turn everything around. And basically what King was saying, I know, is, we have our own interests to take care of here. We don't want to bring people in here and them, promulgate and proliferate their culture when we have our own. And that I'm not going to be PC about it. If I want an Arab culture, an Islamic culture, I'll go visit it. Okay, I'm here because this is America and this is what we want. And we don't have to sit here and say, okay, we're going to assimilate everything. We've been going through this multiculturalism for years. And it's all been to get us ready for this and to feel guilty about us wanting to have our own culture. It's funny, they never say that there's something wrong with Mexicans having a Mexican culture. There's nothing wrong with the Japanese having a Japanese culture. There's nothing wrong with Iraqis having an Iraqi culture, or the Somalis or whatever, But it's always America. Oh, you've got to change your culture. No, we don't. And so I think President Trump is right in the way he said this. If you want to come here, you're going to love our values and our people and assimilate. And if you're not up to that, we don't want you. And we're going to kick you out one way or the other. Okay? That's the way it's going to be. So I think Stephen King was right on, and I hope he doesn't back off and try to be too politically correct about this. He can elaborate on how he was saying what he said. That's fine. But I hope he doesn't back off. Okay. The intruder at the White House. Interesting. How many Secret Service have we got protecting Obama while he goes about all of this subversion to unseat Donald Trump? Remember what I said in a few videos back? We have Secret Service in this situation with Trump, and we have Secret Service and Obama. These are butting heads. I'll tell you what, like I said, this is a volatile situation, and it could go bad at any time. So just, you can bet that the Secret Service that are around Obama, he picked. You can count on it that they are his supporters. There might not be the case with all of them, but you can bet that they're solid behind him. And I can't say that that's the same with the team that's watching Trump or the Secret Service as a whole. Fortunately, Trump does have his personal security, and hopefully that'll help a little bit. And he's got a lot of people in special operations that are concerned about him as well. Okay, I think I'll talk a little bit about this feminist thing, and this is where I was saying I'm going to go back on the Islamic deal. How long in the United States have we heard about women's rights and about feminism and about, pro-choice and about all of this? Women should do the same things that men, dress like them, and all. The whole situation that's been going on with tearing down the male-female relationship throughout the world, but particularly here in the United States, because we live here. I want to talk about that. Can you believe that the American females, so many of them, are so out of their minds that they've been talking about women's rights and all that, and they're embracing Islam, which chains their women, beats their women, doesn't let them drive. I mean, there are a whole lot in Saudi Arabia. There are a whole lot of things there. The right of a man to beat his wife, over an argument, over a disagreement, whatever. I would never do that. I'd never beat my wife for disagreeing with me on something. As a matter of fact, it's a blessing. I'm not saying I'll always agree, but it's a blessing to have that female input, because the male mind is set in a certain way and the female mind is set in a certain way. So sometimes, most of the time, it's good to have a meeting of the minds and to come to a conclusion based on inputs from both sides. But Islam isn't like that. Now, they're promoting that here in the U.S. with, and I can never get her name right, Sarsour, or however you say it, Linda Sarsour, or however it is, Sansour, and all these people that are pushing Islam, they won't even let those women talk like that in those other countries. And the hijab, are you kidding me? Women want to wear that? That's a sign of slavery, of a lower position in society. And worst of all, what about the female genital mutilation? Really? So these women that are like Gloria Steinem and Madonna and Scarlett Johansson, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? They don't know their own enemies. It's amazing. So anyway, feminism in the United States was wrong to begin with, in the way, in my estimation, the way it was implemented. It should have been about the glories of womanhood, not the power of women. It's the wrong situation. I certainly don't go around talking about the power of men. They'll say, well, that's because the institution supports you. Hey, you haven't been in my shoes. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay? The fact of the matter is, we should treat everybody right. as we would want to be treated. And that's pretty much what it needs to be, and it doesn't have to be anything more or anything less. So this is a major bait and switch, and it just shows you the herd mentality that has occurred here in the United States. This is dangerous. I hope women will wake up, but I don't know if they will. On that side, I don't know if they will. How could anybody, for instance, I saw this insult towards First Lady Melania Trump, saying that she had all these horrible things inside of her. I'll tell you what, no, she doesn't. She's a self-made woman. She's chosen a great husband and a great life, far above what most of us could get, but the basics she has are there. She has a faith in God. She wept during a sermon in, I forget which church it was, I think it was in D.C., but I'm not sure. And she gave that prayer in the situation there in Melbourne, Florida. No, this lady, there's nothing evil about this lady. There's nothing underhanded or anything. And I'll tell you what, there are thousands of people that would protect her if the left tries to do something to her or her family. Just so you know. Okay, so the last thing that I'm going to cover here, and I wanted to bring this up. I like to end on a spiritual note if I can, and this is definitely one. I had a friend who is very spiritual. He would, some people say, oh, that's crazy, but he would have dreams and visions. And they were always instructive. It was never like, this is going to happen or that's going to happen or whatever. It was always pretty much about his individual life. And that's why they were so important, because that's how God often deals with us. Most of the time, that's how he deals with us. So I want to tell you this dream he had, because it has to do with Donald Trump, in a way. Donald Trump is being assaulted from all sides. He and his family. And really all conservatives, but he's definitely the center point. Attacks on their character, calling them names, accusing them of things they haven't done or never intended to do, crimes, skullduggery, immorality, impropriety, anything that they can get to keep gnawing at them, okay? Just like demons do in hell to others. That's what this is. They usually do it to themselves, but if there's a really righteous figure, they'll turn on that person and do the same thing, because they can't stand them to be how good they are. So despite the fact I'm concerned about a lot of people that Trump's put in his administration and how some of the things are going, like I said before, he's the man in the arena, and the attacks on him verify who and what he is and what he stands for, and his family. So, my friend had this dream, and he saw Jesus walking with accusers on his right and on his left, calling him foul names. This is, I'm not sure where this was supposed to take place, but the thing that he did was, and Trump is doing this too, not completely, but quite a bit, which has frustrated a lot of us, but I think I understand why. Jesus just ignored them and continued to do what he was going to do. He didn't let all of this side show distract him from where he was going. And I think that's a very important point, because, the evil side is going to try to distract you. And if you have a goal, and it's a righteous goal, you might have to fend them off, but in this case it was that Jesus didn't even give them any credence, any awareness, anything. He just totally ignored them and continued on. So maybe Donald Trump has that in his playbook, in his understanding, and again, we're going to sit back here and pray for him and hope that he's able to pull all this off. Big things probably happening in the next couple days. Keep your eyes on the horizon and your ears to the ground. But there are going to be some people, I think, that are probably going to be revealed in the next few days. Let's pray that that's the case. It's time. Drain the swamp.